Hey guys, coming at you today with a delicious recipe for the most soft and pillowy keto maple pecan sticky buns. So, let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. My name's Alycia. I'm a pastry chef with a sweet tooth, and now I own a keto gluten-free bakery where you can find these maple pecan sticky buns for sale. And I'm here to show you all the tips and tricks on how to make the best recipes possible. So if you enjoy my content, please hit the subscribe button down there, give the video a thumbs up, leave me comments, and share with all your friends and family. They'll be very glad you did. It all helps me, my channel, my bakery grow and bring you new recipes every Saturday. Today, some delicious soft maple pecan sticky buns. This is a recipe that I created using my cinnamon roll dough, and I kind of already have something similar to this on my channel, but I went back and watched both videos and they're not the best quality. Van was still little, the bakery was still kind of new, and I just wasn't myself, to say the least. But I want to bring you this recipe today. Super clear, concise tutorial on how to make these delicious maple pecan sticky buns. So to start out this recipe, we gotta make the caramel sauce that is going on the bottom of the pan. In my other recipe, I did kind of a take on maple pecan sticky buns from a childhood recipe. That recipe from childhood used like Pillsbury biscuit dough and just maple syrup and stuff like that. So I already have 1 cup of allulose in here, 160 grams. I'm gonna add just a couple of tablespoons of water just to moisten it a little bit. That just helps it not cook too fast, but basically you're just boiling off the water to get it to a caramel stage, about 350 degrees. I'm gonna turn it on low and kind of stir it while I'm getting the rest of the stuff ready to go. I just have it right under medium on my stovetop. While that's melting, we're gonna get 4 ounces of heavy cream weighed out, or half cup, and that's not open. So this is a version of my regular caramel sauce. I just minused some of the cream in it to make a little bit thicker of a caramel sauce, because the one for like topping ice cream is a little loose. And then we just need 2 tablespoons of butter, or 1 ounce. Now I looked up a lot of normal recipes, and most recipes called for corn syrup, sugar, and maple syrup. Obviously we don't have maple syrup, so I have maple extract from Olive Nation, and it's just water, alcohol, maple concentrate, and caramel color. I wish it didn't have the caramel color in it. It is what it is. We also, the first test I did, I used this molasses and it tasted delicious, but then I looked at the ingredients, and the third ingredient is modified food starch. So you can use this. I added a tablespoon at the end if you want, but it was delicious with just the maple extract. It's already boiling, so I'm just gonna give it a swish, try to get that last bit, get in there. Allulose is crazy. So we need 1 teaspoon of maple, I already took the top off, maple extract in our heavy cream. And it splashed everywhere. We are gonna need this later, so keep it handy. So that's all the ingredients we need for this. I use salted butter. So if you don't use salted butter, you might want to add a pinch of salt to this mixture. I am using my laser thermometer to get this up to 350, but I go by color a lot now because this isn't very much in here, and you can almost smell it when it's at the caramel stage. If you use too small of a pot, it's really hard to get it to reach more than like 330. While that's cooking, I'm gonna get my pan ready to go. Most recipes didn't call for parchment or anything like that. I just am always terrified that something's gonna stick, so I do parchment it, but I don't think it's completely necessary. I'm doing a full 9x13 pan. Give it sprays on the sides. I don't even cut it anymore, I just fold it down, and you're ready to go. Oh, the first test I did, the pecans kind of stuck. I'm not sure if it's because I waited too long to flip or if they just stick because allulose is sticky, but I give a little spray. What's it floating in there? I don't know what that is. I'm gonna put down a towel here. I'm guessing this is heat proof, but I don't want to make it look yucky, so Yes, my towels are all clean. See, it's at 330 and it's not very caramely colored. So trust my eye more. We're almost at 350, but it doesn't seem to be that dark. So like, I don't know. You can kind of see the smoke starting to come. Yeah, I can smell it. Add in your butter carefully. You don't want it splattering you. And this is gonna look really liquidy, but trust me, it will get real thick. If your butter's not room temperature, definitely make sure the butter's melted before you add anything else to it. And cut it up into small pieces. My butter's just always out warm, room temp. Okay, we can just set that on the side to cool down. You can give it a stir every once in a while, just because it will get like thick around the edges and cool and not in the middle. So I tend to give it a little mix every once in a while. That's it for your caramel sauce. I just keep it on my stovetop. It does keep it kind of warm, but it'll cool down by the time we need to use it. So now on to the buns. Okay, for the dough, it is pretty much my cinnamon roll dough. We're just gonna make some tweaks, and I kind of do it a little bit differently than I did before, but a majority of it is the same. And some of it, I don't even remember what I did before. We need 8 ounces. I'm using a low carb milk. I may have used half heavy cream, half water in the original, but this cuts the carbs down a tiny bit, and I think it's still delicious with a little bit less fat. 1 cup or 8 ounces. I already have 4 eggs. They're at room temperature. We are gonna warm that up, but I want to get some of the other stuff ready to go because I'm going to be talking. I don't want the yeast to get like crazy. I have 1 stick of butter here that we're going to melt, and then we got to get our sweetener and eggs in the bowl. I kept this the same, 96 grams or a half cup of a 1-for-1 erythritol sweetener. You can minus it, but you may need more flour to make up for it. This dough is very particular. You need the certain amount of ratio of flour to liquid and all that to get it to spread out nicely and to roll nicely and stuff like that. To that, we're gonna add our 4 eggs. I'm gonna crack them in something different just to make sure we don't get any bad ones or shells, and that I get 200 grams of eggs. All my eggs have been wildly different. I mean, they're completely different sizes, shapes, so I'm just weighing them out so it doesn't mess up any of my recipes. Might actually try to find a smaller one. Oh, that one was smaller. I try to mix and match. I'm trying to get my 200 I need. There we go. 200. Adding that to our sweetener. Oh, gotta get my mixer up here. And now I'm gonna heat up my milk to about 100 degrees. You want it no hotter than 110. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of inulin. Definitely add some kind of honey or maple syrup if you want. 6 grams, mix that in. I also have my oven on just because it's really cold in here, so it's hard to get your keto stuff to bloom as easily as if you use regular sugar. And 9 grams, or it's supposed to be 2 1/4 teaspoons, but I never find that to be true. I just weigh it out. Put that in a warm spot while we get our dry ingredients ready to go. I normally have my eggs and sweetener whipping while I get my dry ingredients and stuff, but I don't want to talk over that. It's 110 grams of an unflavored whey protein isolate. I'm guessing a concentrate would work. I just never tried it. It's 0 carbs per scoop. So I'll have all the cup measurements up on the screen for you. 30 grams of coconut flour. 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I don't use double acting, so I find I need to use more of this than I would like a normal baking powder. 10 grams. That's really all we need to sift. 44 grams of bamboo fiber, which should be 2/3 of a cup. I have found you can usually use coconut flour in replace of bamboo fiber and vice versa, but like I said earlier, the texture of this dough is kind of important, so messing with flours and stuff can be tricky, especially just using different brands even can change it. It could be a little bit tricky if you want to swap ingredients and stuff. Same thing with I've swapped oat fiber for bamboo fiber, but I've had to add a little bit extra in there so that it wasn't too sticky. Doing 25 grams of beef gelatin. Beef gelatin's a little bit stronger than like a Knox Unflavored, which is pork. Now, this xanthan gum is much more yellow than the previous one. So this dough is definitely gonna be stiffer just because of that. But all brands of xanthan gum are different. Even bag to bag, they've been different. This is still Anthony's, but it was stronger than the previous one. So this dough is probably gonna be nice and stiff. So 9 grams, or about a tablespoon. Since I don't have consistency between brand even, I actually found micro ingredients is a little bit cheaper than Anthony's xanthan gum, and I'm probably gonna end up switching to that eventually once I'm out of this Anthony's brand. Give those all a mix. Our yeast is getting bloomed in there. We're gonna melt our butter and get everything mixed together. If your yeast is old, it's gonna take longer for it to bloom. I had that problem, and you really need to get it bubbly. Even if it has been a while, let it go in a warm spot. You don't want to get volume on the eggs. We're just trying to dissolve the sweetener in there. I should have been stirring this and I didn't, so it's kind of getting real thick and stuck at the edges. Give it a stir as it cools. Another thing with this dough, I didn't work with it a lot during summertime, so I didn't realize it, but if it's too hot in your house or your kitchen, it will be stickier because the gelatin takes a while to gel. So if your butter's real hot, your milk's real hot, and it's hot in your house, that may be a reason why you think it's too sticky. But I would just wait for it to cool down a little bit and then try working with it before adding like more flours and stuff, because the more flours you add to keto baked goods, the drier they get. Just a little scrape down. The hot butter and milk though help dissolve the sweetener, and it helps you be able to work with it a little bit easier. So if it gets too cold, which I've had that problem too, it breaks on you instead of being like elastic. So you want it kind of in the middle, like 85 degrees. One more scrape and just all your dry ingredients at once. If you're not sure on this recipe, if you haven't made my cinnamon rolls before, you can whisk up your dry ingredients really well. You can add all of it, but some, because if you add too much, it does become really dry and broken and is harder to work with also. So I've been testing these recipes over and over again, and with different ingredients, it acts differently because our keto ingredients aren't the same all across the board. So you can just add some at a time to get the right texture on this dough. Same thing, you can make a big batch of this dry ingredients and use it as you need it if you're going to make a lot of cinnamon rolls. I swear this whip is not the whip for this mixer. I wonder if it got swapped at the bakery I was at. Basically what you're looking for is a real thick dough that's starting to come away from the sides. You also may need to let it sit for a minute because coconut flour takes a minute to absorb also. It's already whipping around the sides there. It's good. Notice the more you mix it, the more that xanthan gum gets activated in there. Should be good to go. Try to get all the dry in there. Take it off and let it hydrate a minute while I get set up to roll it out. Should be pretty much stiff on your whisk. Okay, I have switched from doing this on one piece of parchment and rolling it out to a lightly greased silk pad. Since I did buy some new ones too. So we're giving this a little spray. If you use parchment paper, you gotta oil the crap out of it. Make sure it doesn't stick. But I tried not putting oil on this the first time I tried it, and it stuck. Oil it up. If you're gonna touch the dough at all, oil your hands up. And then I use a bench scraper to help me form it a little bit. And I got my rolling pin here. I'm gonna grease up too. Okay, so this dough, after it sits for a minute, gets real thick. Almost forms like a dough ball. Similar to the gluten one, but not quite. Start by spraying that down, spraying your hand, and I kind of get it into a rectangle shape. Try try to smooth it out. Now I changed how big I make this. I watched my old video after I did the first couple of tests with this, and I do it a little bit longer this way and a little bit shorter this way. So 16 by whatever this is. I think it's like 10. Keep your oil handy, you might need it. Big thing is not to leave your rolling pin in one place for too long. It may stick. It's almost like quicksand. You start sinking if you sit still for too long. You might need to re-oil. So here's where I kind of go and add to other places. Whoop. I kind of go in with my hand. It's a little bit easier to figure out the thickness and feel it out, kind of move it where you need it. So we're going from edge to edge is 16. It's always thicker in the center. I'd always try to get it not as thick and get it more even, and I always fail at it. Try your best. Whoop, don't mess up the rest of it. Okay, I think we're good. So another trick I do now, I refrigerate this while we're getting the filling ready to go, and our pan with the caramel and everything. You just throw it on the back of a half sheet pan, and then I move my shooting area. Now my shot's off. Putting it in the refrigerator. Okay, now for the filling. It is pretty much the same as my cinnamon rolls, except for I cut the cinnamon down a little bit because we want more of a maple flavor, and then we're gonna add a little bit of maple extract to the filling. It's the same 3 tablespoons of butter or 42 grams. Wow, got it right on. 62 grams of a golden erythritol sweetener. Probably don't want to use any more allulose in this recipe because the caramel sauce already makes it super soft. And if you add any more allulose to like the inside or anything, I feel like it would take a really long time to bake and probably brown a lot elsewhere. 62 is, I believe, 1/3 of a cup, half tablespoon of cinnamon, and a half teaspoon of maple extract. We're just gonna warm that slightly in the microwave just to get it spreadable. You know, you don't really want to warm it until you're ready to spread it. So keep that to the side. Then I already have about 1 cup, 112 grams or 4 ounces of chopped pecans ready to go. And our caramel sauce is starting to get thick. So just 1 more minute on that, I think. I'm gonna put it in a cooler spot to cool down a little bit more, and then we'll pour it into the pan. Okay, now that the caramel isn't super liquidy anymore, pour it into our pan. You do lose a little bit underneath the parchment, but after you flip it, you can always take the parchment out and redistribute the caramel sauce too. Sprinkle your pecans. I like having some big and some small in there. Makes it a nice variety. Set this aside and let's get out our dough. I'm gonna warm up our filling a little bit before we grab it out. You just want it a little bit soft so it's easier to spread on our nice soft dough. Did about 10 seconds. You see some of it is starting to melt, but not all of it. You don't want it liquidy, just spreadable. Should be good. Smells good. Put it right down on your board. Spread this on and just leave a little bit at the top. You gotta spread it kind of thin. Make sure you get all the way down here. This is the center of the cinnamon roll. The best part, I think. Okay, it looks good. Now the other difference I made in this is trying to roll the whole thing and cutting it. Pain in the butt. I bought this thing and it comes in handy. We're gonna cut this into 12. So you go, make sure you're it's a little bit bigger than 16 inches. So I have it a little bit off this side and it's a little bit more than 16 over here. You're right down the middle. If you have 2 rulers, which I do, I should put another one at the bottom, but 8, 4, and 12. And then each of those sections into 3, which I'm never great at doing. I feel like I should like mark it first or something. If you have like a breadstick cutter, I know there's a special name for it. I don't remember what it's called, but that probably worked good. There we go. Grab your pan, and we're just gonna roll these up. It's so much easier. That's it. Set it in the pan. Putting the dough in the fridge does not kill the yeast. It just makes it inactive. So it might take a little bit longer to proof, but even I've not proofed it and it's been delicious still. But I do proof these for about an hour for best consistency, but they're good just straight into the oven too. If you have any skinnier ones, I always suggest putting those in the middle, because the less you're able to bake it, the softer and more moist it'll be. This, you really don't have to worry too much about it, because that allulose keeps it so soft and moist. But if you're making the regular cinnamon rolls, another tip for you. I never get the spacing right. So much easier than trying to cut a big log. There you go. I'm gonna wrap these up and I'm gonna proof them for an hour in my proofer at 105. If you have a proof setting on your oven or something like that, 105 is best for keto baked goods, because like the normal 85 to 90 for like yeasted regular dough doesn't really do much to ours. So in my original cinnamon roll recipe, I said you have to have like almost no space in between. I like having a little space now, and it doesn't seem to change the texture that much. And they look prettier. So I'm only gonna do an hour. I'm gonna wrap these up 30 minutes, rotate 30 minutes. At your rotation time, turn your oven to 375. Okay, it's been 1 hour. I'm grabbing the sticky buns out of the proofer or dehydrator. And they look delicious. They definitely have poofed. They weren't touching before. So onto a sheet tray, and they're going in for about 22 minutes, depending on your oven. So I'm gonna do 11, turn it 11, and I might give it more if it needs a little bit more browning on top. I am gonna temp the inside at about 190 and do the oven. 22 minutes is up. I don't think they're ready yet, but I'm gonna take a peek. You want them all to look like that on top. So we're gonna give it another turn and do another 3 minutes. I'll check it again in 3 minutes. If they're still not all golden brown on top, I'll set it for another 3, but they might be done. So hopefully we can pull them out. Okay, the timer just went off and it looks like they're done. I am gonna temp it though. Yep, they are good to go. You want them soft, springing back, and just not mushy anymore. Gotta let this cool for 5 minutes, and then we're gonna pop them out. Oh, they're heavy. They look so good. Excited to have another one of these. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. You should be able to touch the pan now. I'm gonna put it onto a sheet tray just because I don't have any nice platters. If you have a platter to put this on to serve it for Thanksgiving or something, that'd be ideal. Put this over it and do a flip. The bottom will still be hot, so be careful. Ooh, wow. Look delicious. Now, of course, get all the delicious sticky bun syrup on your rolls. That is a thick, sticky syrup on there. Looks so good. And they pull apart beautifully. Hot, hot, hot. I might need to let it cool a little bit. The syrup is still pretty hot, but they are pretty delicate until they're cooled a little bit more. Be back in just a few minutes to try one, because they are best when they're warm. Okay, I think it's cool enough to eat now. Still warm, but not boiling hot. See if I can break it open. Not how you eat a cinnamon roll. Super soft and fluffy and a little bit chewy. That xanthan gum and beef gelatin give a little bit of chew to our keto baked goods that you get in regular, bready baked goods. Cinnamon, a little maple flavor. So good. It's just super soft and fluffy. It's not super sweet. For me, I'd like to add some stevia to the maple syrup that we made, but for most people on keto, this is gonna be good. It's delicious. I'll put up the nutrition facts here. I think it's just over 2 grams net carbs each. So my nutrition label says 3 because my traditional cinnamon rolls are 2 grams net carbs each. That's how nutrition labels work. So 3 grams net carbs, but 14 grams of protein per sticky bun. You won't have to miss out on delicious breakfast pastries for Thanksgiving or Christmas. They're so good. And delicious reheated in the oven or the microwave. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe video and give it a try for yourself. And if you don't like baking or don't feel like making a super complicated recipe, for a limited time, you can order this on my website. But you better act fast. You gotta get your orders in by today if you want them for Thanksgiving time. So I'll leave my link down below to my website if you want to order some maple pecan sticky buns for Thanksgiving. And if not for Thanksgiving, for Christmas time. I'm not sure how long I'll keep them on my website for. They are pretty labor intensive. Obviously, you just saw me make them, but they are delicious. So what other breakfast baked goods have I not tackled yet? I'm running out of ideas for breakfast stuff. So let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my Amazon shop page. The link is in the description box below, along with the blog link to the full recipe. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. As always, I'll be back with more keto, low carb, healthy meals, desserts, and snack recipes. Bye guys. Happy keto baking, or just eating.